Hey, what's up guys and welcome to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Was Born in the Uzumaki clan. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto pushed himself to his limit, and enjoy that guys. And I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto Had Divine Powers, so go ahead and enjoy it as well. And I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto Was Osusuke King, so go ahead and enjoy it as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So, the last time we left off, the mission began as the 100 stone ninjas are going through the valley, led by their commander. It was then it appeared, the darkness, pure utter darkness. As ninjas started to get swallowed up by the darkness, everyone was getting beyond scared. As the man started to run through the valley as fast as they can, as the commander and a few of them reached, as they saw a woman on the lake calling them. As they started to back away, but the darkness then consumed the rest of them, leaving the commander alone. It was then it happened, he saw his man coming from the dead and attacking. They were behaving ferociously at him, as the man dropped on the ground, screaming in pain and agony. As a terrified thought came into his mind, he saw death and suffering, everything around him was burning. As Naruto finished going through the man's mind, sent the man back to the hidden stone, so he can relay the information. A lot of the people at the stone did well. The civilian council, they were highly religious, so if they ever heard about this, they would stop their attack on the hidden rain for now. When that was over, Naruto turned towards Yaiko and started to beat the absolute crap out of him. Naruto even pulled his blade as he was about to kill him, but Nagato and Akeno stopped him. Naruto had the authority to kill him because he was leader of his squad, as he told Yaiko that he was pathetic. Yaiko refrained from killing the man. As he froze up, he was scared, and Naruto couldn't allow that because he almost got Nagato killed. It took some time, but Akeno, she finally healed up Nagato, as he then went and bowed down as he apologized to Naruto, as he told him that he didn't want to be kicked off the squad. As Naruto looked into his mind and saw something, Nagato grew up in a very poor family. As his father died, he vowed that he would change his entire world. He will change everything. As Naruto saw that look in the boy's eyes. Arriving back, Hanzo asks, as Naruto told him that mission was a success, and all that he told him to do, it was done. As Hanzo knew why he selected this boy was fit for the job. As Naruto told Hanzo that in case of his death, or in case of a new leader, he nominated Yaiko. As everyone was shocked, as they couldn't believe it, even Yaiko was shocked as well. As Hanzo then told them in case Naruto is out of commission, Yaiko would be leading the team. As Hanzo figured that Naruto saw something in young Yaiko, that's why he picked him for this job. After that, Naruto left, as Konan was still pissed at him, the way he beat up on Yaiko. Even his friends were giving him some space for now. As Naruto found himself in a back alley of the hidden rain, where the prostitutes and all of them were. As he went to our local pleasure house, arriving inside, he placed a stack of cash on the counter. The woman was shocked, as she told him that they would treat him well, as he was brought to a room to see a beautiful, gorgeous, blonde-haired woman. For the next couple of hours, he was going to have some fun. So yeah guys, it was basically last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? We begin this a few hours after Naruto went to the pleasure house. Unlike the rest of his team who was enjoying their free time off, Yaiko was busy as he was searching for Naruto. Naruto was a mystery to him. Even though he was scared of him, he was still a mystery. Even though his first mission he didn't perform well at all, Naruto had given him a chance. An opportunity to prove himself, to be of use to his nation and his family. The entire squad expected Naruto to throw Yaiko off the team, but here he was in line to be the next squad leader. That was just surprising. Yet Yaiko knew that he was not ready. He couldn't overcome that final threshold that separated him from the other players on the team. And if he doesn't go through that, he will remain useless and get his friends killed. And that was unacceptable. He had already searched through most areas of the capital, even going to Naruto's apartment, but he was not there. Lack of options brought him to the red light district, but he doubted he would find Naruto here. The words died in his throat when he saw Naruto coming out of one of the luxurious, expensive brothel with a goofy grin on his face. As Naruto's smile quickly faded when he saw Yaiko looking at him. As Naruto walked straight over. "What the hell are you doing here?" he asked flatly. I was looking for you. I want to thank you for..." But Yaiko was stopped when Naruto started to laugh. As Yaiko was confused. "Thank me?" Naruto said. "The only reason your worthless ass is still on the team and receive a promotion is because I want you to fail. I want you to realize how useless you are when you get one of your teammates killed." As Naruto pushed him out of his way. Naruto didn't stop. What the hell was wrong with this kid? He wanted him to stay away from him, but the kid was now bowing in front of him. "I don't care whether you give me a chance to watch me fail or succeed. It doesn't matter. At first I did not understand what threat my nation faces, but now I know. And I don't want to watch my home, my people burn to death," said Yaiko sincerely as his head was still bowed. "You're weak and naive," Naruto said, but Yaiko simply nodded. "Yes, that is exactly why I want you to teach me how to be like you." "Why?" Yaiko looked up as he saw a strange look in Naruto's eyes. "Why would someone like you want to be like me?" Naruto asked. "You are the ninja, the perfect ninja my country need in the hour of their need right now. I want to protect them by becoming like you." "And why would I help you?" Naruto asked. Yaiko paused, his mind going through millions of thoughts, but in the end his protection over the nation took over all of those. "I don't have any money or power to offer you. All I have is my ability to fight and my loyalty. I can offer you that," he said. Naruto sighed as he looked up. The look in Yaiko's eyes was the same one he had all those years ago, when he told his Kage to give him a chance, so he could find a place to exist in this cruel world. "My path is not for the weak or the naive, and don't pledge something like that so easily. Stop trying to make me give up," said Yaiko. I will believe in you, and follow you, Uzumaki Naruto, because I won't let the hidden rain fall." As Naruto saw a sea of courage and determination burning in the boy's eyes. "Meet me at the southern gate, before sunrise tomorrow. We will see how far you are willing to go, just to protect your village." And with that, Naruto was gone in black smoke. The next day, in the darkness of the night, Yaiko marched towards the southern gate, dressed in his military armor and his demon mask. The sky was pitch black. The rain was pouring down. Naruto then manifested right beside him from the shadows, as he didn't flinch. Naruto was dressed in the same outfit, his face covered by a demon mask. "You understand this is not an official mission for the inner rain?" "Yes," said Nagato. "So what do you expect from this mission?" asked Naruto. "To become strong like you. To fight and do anything to protect my nation." "Not bad," Naruto thought. "I'll guide you then. If you fail me, or fail the task I assigned to you, I will kill you," Naruto said. "Understood, Captain," said Yaiko. No matter what, he could not fail. He could not lose. Naruto looked at his face for a long minute before nodding, as he walked ahead. "Then welcome to the Akatsuki," Naruto said. As there was a wicked smile on Naruto's face. Every step he took, he felt like he was getting closer and closer to Konoha. But he wouldn't have to wait too long, because the time for revenge has arrived. Time skip, creepy, was all that Yaiko could feel as he walked through the long, dark hollow Akatsuki base. As Naruto was walking in front of him, apparently Naruto didn't find the hundreds of people dressed in red robes creepy at all, as they were kneeling. The faces of these people were covered in some demon masks, as it must be some genjutsu or something because their eyes were glowing red. Creepy indeed. At the end of the hall stood two men. One of them was of average height with grey hair that was combed backwards, as he was bare-chested and he was holding on to a long scythe. But the other one beside him, the man had shark-like features. Just what kind of creepy people did Naruto work for? Kisame. What a surprise, Naruto said. Kisame reached into his pockets as he fetched for something. He then pulled it and tossed it towards Naruto. Got you something special, he said. Yaiko decided to sneak a peek. What he saw made him flinch. Couldn't these people be normal? To his surprise, Naruto smiled, a genuine one at that. For in his hands was a unique mask. He wasted no time as he placed it on. As Yaiko had to step away, as Naruto turned towards him, all of a sudden, his face was covered in a leather, black mask. The left eye was the one that was showing, that was glowing red. There was some crazy teeth at the mouth section, as he looked like a cannibal. Combine that with his pitch black armor, he seemed like a truly dangerous predator. I thought the leader should look different from the cannon fodder, said Kisame with a tease. Who are you talking about, fish cake? Said Hidan. Yaiko's eyes went wide when Kisame sliced off Hidan's right arm. As he winced out in pain. He's useful, Kisame. Fix him up before he messed up my ears with his screaming, said Naruto. As Kisame simply picked back up the arm and attached it, as veins and muscles grew back. As that didn't stop Hidan ranting though. Hidan, shut up, Naruto said. As he went quiet instantly. So tell me, what brings you here? I didn't send for you, Naruto said. The Mizukage sent me to investigate the conflict between Konoha and the San. A recon mission, but then I caught this idiot in a bar blabbing his mouth about how great his leader was, and about how the Akatsuki would screw over all the villages. When he mentioned that his leader used dark powers, I knew it was you. So I followed him here. The atmosphere dropped several degrees. Yaiko shivered as he felt a cold chill go through his spine. Hidan crumbled down to his knees. I'm sorry, he said. You're not even intelligent enough for me to punish you, Naruto said, as Hidan signed relief. But that doesn't mean I won't. Hidan screamed out in pain as a skull shape came on his right hand, as he writhed on the ground from side to side, but none of the others members moved or flinched. It was like they didn't have a soul or gave a damn what happened to their comrade. Kisame grinned, but he was sad when Naruto stopped, and Hira was enjoying the show. Oh, shut up, you sadistic freak, Naruto said, making Kisame chuckle. Never a dull day with you, leader, said Kisame. You're the leader of the Akatsuki? Both men turned towards Yaiko, asked a question. Naruto raised his only visible eyebrow, as his eye was still red, looking at Yaiko. Oh, I forgot. How silly of me, Naruto said. You have no problem with that, do you? Asked Kisame. No, said Yaiko. Moments later, the four of them sat around a table, as Naruto was going through reports. But he had an angry look. You sure these numbers are accurate? He asked, as he turned his gaze towards Hidan. Of course, my lord. I scouted them myself. That is why I doubt them, said Naruto. Kisame, Yaiko, look over these and tell me what you think. The both of them were beyond surprised when they read it. It was a well-known fact that the Sand was weak amongst grade 5, but to think they were actually this weak. In a matter of 2 weeks, Konoha had seized all border town of the hidden Sand, destroy all the outposts, killing hundreds of Sand ninjas, with several more being captured. And the reason of all of this defeat was a single shinobi, the Yellow Flash. It was what the terrified Sand ninja called their enemy. Naruto, can you explain how a war between the Sand and Konoha is a threat to the hidden rain? Asked Yaiko. At this rate, Naruto said, the Sand will fall, which will destroy the power balance. Konoha will take over the Sand territory and its power, which will make it more dangerous. The stone will not stand for that, as they will intervene, and you will have 3 powerful nations fighting against the rain border, and it won't take much time before they use the hidden rain as their battlefield. and the hidden rain will be decimated to shreds if that happened. Tell me, what do I have to do, said Yaiko. As Naruto smiled under his mask, seeing that look in Yaiko's eyes. Where are your morals now, Naruto asked. I was wrong. In this world, what matters is to protect what you hold dear. For me, that is the hidden rain and my friends and my family. For them. I have to do anything. Even sell my soul, he said. As Naruto gave the boy a proud smile. That is what I wanted to hear. Kisame, it will be a few days before I determine where to strike. Train this brat until then. As Kisame frowned. Why would I do that? Fine, I'll owe you a favor then, said Naruto. I'll hold you to that, said Kisame with a grin. He then turned to Yaiko, who simply shivered. As Naruto nodded to Yaiko, as Yaiko nodded back. Hidan, you will be coming with me. We will scout out and determine where it hurt Konoha the most, to halt their invasion on the sand. It will be an honor to fight beside you, my lord, said Hidan. Make no mistake, we're going there to scout, not to fight. The fighting will take place after I determine everything is okay. Understood. As everyone nodded. A few hours later, as Naruto and Hidan were walking the fire country, openly for anyone to see, their faces covered by masks, Hidan was wearing a mask with a red-eyed demon on it, while Naruto was wearing the new mask that Kisame had given him, as it fit him, along with the dark cloak that he wore. My lord, isn't it dangerous for you to walk in the open like this? It is hostile territory, said Hidan. I haven't sent anyone for the next kilometers. Besides, do you doubt my powers, Hidan? No, my lord. Good, said Naruto. The two then walked off in silence until Naruto stopped raising his hand as he smelled blood. As he sprinted as Hidan followed behind him. As Naruto arrived to see a Saiyan shinobi lying in the bush, an Anvu Black Ops. As he knelt beside the man, the stab wound in the chest and his neck sliced open cause of death. Somehow this man managed to escape his enemy, but he succumbed to his wounds on the way back home. Naruto frowned. The Anvu was not an easy opponent to kill, even for him. Only an Anvu or a veteran Jonin squad or a Kage could kill an Anvu. And none of the possibilities pleased him because it only increases difficulties. Hidan, summon your other cult brothers, Naruto said. You think we'll need their help, said Hidan as he placed his hand on a tattoo on his arm. Perhaps. Go back to the base and mass our forces there. Get Kisame and Yaiko, as well as those bandits and the lowlife you recruited. We will need everything that we've got. I can't leave you out here alone, my lord, said Hidan. He thought he was going to be punished and Naruto looked back at him. But Naruto removed his mask as he took in a deep breath with a smile on his face. But he wasn't happy. Don't worry, Hidan. I won't be dying anytime soon, he said. You're going after the enemy who did this, aren't you? Asked Hidan. Yes, I'll scout them out. If they have a camp, I'll scout it as well. I'm the only one that can do this quietly. Very well, said Hidan. It took him a few hours to get there, where the sand ninjas fled from. As Naruto smiled when he saw a camp of Konoha shinobis. It was extremely hard for him to control his bloodlust, his anger, his rage, as he saw his clansman who died. But somehow he controlled himself, seeing that it wouldn't do him any good to march inside a camp with hundreds of highly trained killers. Granted, some of them looked to be Chunins, some even Genins, but he sent some powerful tracker signatures, Jonins. He had to be careful against them. Unlike the Hidden Stone who believe in quantity of soldiers, Konoha believe in quality. Their shinobis were better trained only, Kumo shinobis being able to match them in skill. As Konoha had produced some strong ninjas, Hoshirama, Tobirama, Madara, Hiruzen, so many more, including his father. His father was a Jonin, he must be skilled. Thinking about his father made him feel a bit conflicted. Why? Why should he care about him? Well, he did come to visit him a few times, unlike his mother. Maybe he will spare the both of them, yes. He will watch them. He will make them watch as their village burn and suffer. So Naruto waited like a dangerous predator, watching in the shadows. 3 days later, Obito sadly watched as Ren worked on one of their fellow Chunins. The young boy already lost the eye, along with one of his arms. His wounds were grave, and even if he survived, he won't be a shinobi ever again. as he didn't understand the point of this war. It had been a week since he arrived. He expected great battles, where mass armies fought against each other, where one battle will determine everything. But he found himself facing skirmish, sabotage, assassination attempts. The Sand Shinobis knew they couldn't win the outright fight, so they were doing everything to stall the enemy. Sand Shinobis would wait and lie in the forest and take out the Konoha ninjas. It did achieve them some success, as they even sent suicide bombers to explode the place. People that were loyal to their village to help in any way possible, even giving their life. But they were still throwing away their life in the hundreds. What's the point of all of this? Obito asked tiredly. Oi, don't say things like that openly. We're shinobi, we fight for our nation, said Kakashi. Both the boys were assigned guard duty out of the medical station and watching their teammate. This war is pointless and you know it, said Obito, making Kakashi sigh. We didn't start it, Obito, the Sand did. Funny, the Sand claimed the same thing that we did, said Obito. As Kakashi frowned, they're lying. How? Could you know? You have seen how they fight. In the long run they will be taken down. We have a larger army, better trained shinobi, and we have the power to wage war. The Sand doesn't have any of that. Why would they risk their own annihilation, Obito asked. Kakashi paused. Despite everything, he couldn't deny the hard facts. Unknown to him, Kakashi's own father Sakumo had shared the same opinion. Hiruzen wanted peace, but most of the others didn't. They have won the two previous wars, and now they still have strong ninjas like Hiruzen, Kagami, Danzo, the Hokage, upcoming students, and several other dangerous clans. Their army was the second largest in the entire world. Fear had spread out, and the daimyo ordered Hiruzen to crush the Sand. The official reason for this was to protect their nation and the borders. But the real reason was that Konoha was tired of the power balance between the Great Five. If it managed to crush the Sand, its area will also grow largely, and also its power, taking over the wind country, would grow for them tremendously. Meaning more business contract, more income, and the fear of them would spread across every nation. It was a pre-planned war strategy. It was cruel, but it was needed. The strong survived while the weak died. A few kilometers away, he watched the army of fighters surrounding him. Granted, most of them were weak, but 150 fighters were a good strong force. A large number of them were cult members who were immortal and could not be killed easily. Hidan, Kisame, and Yaiko were his strongest fighters, as Kisame probably brought Yaiko through hell, as several cut marks were over Yaiko's body. Kisame hadn't been merciful, and rightly so. He wanted Yaiko to get stronger, as Naruto was pleased as he saw a cold look in Yaiko's eyes. It seemed like Kisame had taught him a few things as well. As Naruto had created a rough drawing of the Konoha camp in the era, it had two entrances, one at the front and one at the rear. There was a lake on the right, and the other side was pure grass, as there was a series of traps set all around the camp, not to mention the barrier that would alert the enemy the moment his forces come into range. Fortunately, he didn't blind charge in. He waited for a day, and when a group of young Chunins was sent out, he captured them. Interrogated all four of them. Their young minds were no match for his dangerous powers. In the end, they revealed everything about their defensive. He had sent all of them back, as they were his moles right now. When my moles inside the camp start the attack, we will begin, Naruto said. What will be the signal? Asked Yaiko. Something loud, said Naruto. As Naruto turned towards the cult members, kill everyone in that camp with my name. Spare no one, except for the few captured Sand ninjas who might still be alive. What about the wounded? You said that this camp has a few medical ninjas. I don't take prisoners, Naruto said. Do them a favor and put them out of their misery. As Naruto narrowed his eyes waiting for a protest from Yaiko, but none came. As Naruto grinned darkly, it seems like the boy was ready. Everyone understand the plan, Naruto asked. Any questions? But no one said anything. Alright then, it's time to act. Kagami Uchiha. He was a proud student once, a proud student of Tobirama Senju. He had seen war and what death war brought. He had been there when Konoha seized the Great Second War, but it was a cause of his teacher. When the war was finally over, children were growing up without dying. they saw their 18-year-old birthday, and Kagami had hoped that his son, Shisui, would share the same fate. Alas, that was not to happen because war began once more. Hiruzen's desire for peace was overwritten by the Fire Daimyo, demanding him to crush the sand. Now, the only thing Kagami had to do was defeat the enemy as fast as possible to avoid casualties on both sides. Probably to capture the enemies, so they would become prisoners and not be slaughtered for useless violence. Seeing that his son Shisui was still in the academy, but if Konoha lose more people, then the younger kids will be sent out to war. He could only hope that Minato and the others would stop that from occurring. He had great hope for the Namikaze. In him, he saw a great, strong leader who could lead Konoha. A warrior with Hoshirama's heart and Tobirama's mental strength. That boy was going to become something great. And the fact that Minato already replicate Tobirama Hiroshin technique, Kagami saw him as a legend already, as his name is now the Yellow Flash. He was interrupted by a knock on his door, as he said, "Come in." Two young Chunin stepped in his office. They were just recently promoted. As it seems, Konoha really needed more troops, sent out on battlefield, and they were young. Yes, he said. He then noticed something. Their eyes were blank, their shoulders were slumped. "Akatsuki sent their regards," the Chunin whispered. Kagami's Sharingan flared to life as he leaped out of his chair as the Chunins exploded, explosive tags all over their body. A monstrous explosion destroyed the Konoha garrison commander to ashes. A wicked smile was on Naruto's lips. He doubted whether the commander survived or not. In any condition, he would be weakened after the explosion. The attack happened right in the middle of the camp, as the young troops must be terrified now that their commander has been killed. "This is for us," Naruto said. "Begin the operation," he shouted. The entire camp was sealed off by Hidan and Yaiko, a new seal called Mute Charge. Their cries will not be heard by anyone. With the destruction of the command center, they couldn't contact anyone. "It's time," said Hidan. "Let's kill for the Dark Lord." Yaiko kept his emotion checked. He didn't like these people, but for the Hidori to survive, they have to die. Kisame currently had a large force of troops beside him, as all of them were silent, waiting his order. As he was leading this group, he understood what Naruto was doing by freeing the Sand Ninjas. Naruto was playing a bigger game, a really big game, but he will have to wait, as the task will only start when the enemy forces were engaged already, because these guys with him were just bandits, and they will be slaughtered by the ninja forces if they charge in now. Sure, Kisame could take on most of them, but Naruto told him to stay back, seeing that he was one of the precious ones in the Akatsuki right now. Well, one of the strongest. These guys were just cannon fodder. After the enemy forces was taking care of the Jonins and the real ninjas, then the bandits will move in and attack. Meanwhile, Ren shook her head. Kakashi clenched his fists as the burned people they were dead. Fortify the defenses. Kakashi turned as he saw a heavily wounded Kagami coming towards him. The man had lost his left arm. One of his eyes were destroyed by shrapnels and wood pieces, and there were other nasty cuts along his body. He had barely survived. Ren quickly dashed towards his side as she started her medical ninjutsu. "Commander, orders," said Kakashi in a professional voice. "I have already sent the Jonins to the entrance, the front entrance. Our communication specialist died in the blast. The Chunin squads are currently at the rear and the left flank. You and your squads will accompany me," he said. "You cannot move," said Ren. "Your body..." Kagami shook his head. "Whoever did this managed to subdue my own soldiers, to make them commit suicide by exploding themselves in the command center. They are dangerous, and if we are to survive this, I cannot sit back. I am the commander," Kagami said. "But," said Ren. "Enough. Ren, we of all people should understand and support the commander," said Kakashi. "It seems your son shall also become a fine shinobi someday, Sakumo. I'll do my best to support him." As Ren helped him stood back up. The girl was quite good at healing. As Kagami activated Sharingan, his group dashed forward. "What's the status, Hoshi-senpai?" asked Obito. The Nara Jonin turned towards the young boy. He quickly saluted on seeing the commander with them, but he didn't flinch to see the condition that commander was in. The other Jonins were also shocked, but they were touched. Even in this state, he stood by their side. There is no enemy here so far. I think they will try to attack our flank, or most likely our rear, said Hoshi Yamanaka. Let them, we have set up these traps for this situation precisely, said a pissed off Jonin. Kagami stepped forward past all of them, as Obito and Kakashi flanked their leader. He's here, said Kagami. Obito eyes wide when the forest in front of them started to get swallowed in pitch black darkness. He channeled his chakra hoping that this was an illusion, but he was shocked it wasn't. The forest was actually being swallowed in a wave of darkness that was approaching towards them. As beside him was Kakashi and most of the Chonins, they started to shiver as they were all assaulted by feelings of despair and death and defeat. Many of the Chonins started to fall to their knees as killing intent flared through the area. Obito's heart felt like he was about to burst. Even Kakashi was sweating and panting. But Kagami flared his own chakra, as this was comforting and protect them from the full chakra that was coming. Kagami placed a hand on Obito's shoulder. Believe in yourself, all of you. Fight for Konoha as a proud shinobi. Those words gave them back their will to fight, their determination, as a hope came back in their eyes. A lone figure stepped out of the darkness, its body covered in a dark cloak that had red clouds on it, its face covered in a mortified ghoul mask. The darkness that swallowed the forest was around him, but what truly frightened Obito was a lone red eye that was staring back at them. The level of hunger, hatred, and pain in those eyes made him gulp. If you want to protect it, then die for your corrupt nation, Naruto said. Something was definitely wrong with this fighter. Most of them quickly thought not only did he seem dangerous, but the way he spoke and the way he carried himself. It was like he was mentally unstable, like he had a grudge to kill all of them. None of them had ever seen anything like this before. Kagami eyes wide when his Sharingan saw the chakra spike. Scatter now, he yelled. A lot of them accomplished his command, but the younger ones weren't fast enough. Kagami watched razor-sharp shuriken made from pure dark chakra tear through their chests. The bodies dropped to the ground as he watched the life leave all of their eyes. Obito eyes widened when he saw Kakashi kneel, as Kakashi's left arm was pierced by that dark energy. Ren shrieked as she tried to stop the bleeding, but Kakashi screamed out in pain and agony when her chakra made contact. Light and dark never makes you fools, Naruto said. As Naruto's eyes scanned to see that only 20 fighters remain. 12 Jonins, 5 Chunins, and 3 Genins. As the rest of them were lying on the ground dead, as he saw the anger in the rest of the others' eyes. It hurt, doesn't it? Watching the people you love die. 2 Chunins rushed towards him, as Kagami saw that wicked gleam in his eye. One swipe of the dark tentacles, and their heads were sent rolling. Obito glared at his enemy. So many of his comrades lay dead in front of him, their life lost to this monster. Beside him he saw Kakashi sweating heavily, and his armor was turning black like it was poison. Ren was trying her best, but it just wasn't helping their teammate. Hoji, you understand what is happening, said Kagami. Yes, none of us can take him alone. Coordination will be necessary, said Nara. The rest of the Jonin exchanged nods. All of them flashed away as they surrounded Naruto from all sides, but Naruto stood there with a calm look on his face. Obito helped Ren drag Kakashi away from the battlefield, all the while keeping his eye on the battle. As he watched, the Jonin squad unleash a storm of kunais and shurikens straight towards their opponent to kill him. Kagami slammed his hands together, and the kunais and shurikens multiplied into hundreds. The demonic boy just simply laughed as death approached him from all sides. 2 dark wings emerged from his back as he flapped them, launching dark attacks smashing into the kunais and shurikens. Bright sparks apply as metal clashed with dark energy over and over again. The Jonins intensified their combo attack as he returned in kind. It was a stalemate as Kagami went through hand sign, fire style, fireball jutsu, as 3 other Jonins did the same thing behind him. That was it, Obito said. The raging fireballs pounced on him, but he absorbed them. Steam rose from his body, as only the heat in the air was the proof that the jutsus were used. Even the Jonin squad could only gape at this monster. A wicked smile came on his face as he looked at all of them. It's my turn, he said. Kagami watched two of his Jonins scream and then they launched at each other. Before they could even act, the two men ripped each other through to pieces. Its brief distraction caused him. As the boy appeared behind the female Jonin that was standing, she tried to stab around, but she coughed up blood instantly as a black tentacle ripped right through her chest. The remaining 9 just watched as he threw her body away. Her body rolling across the ground, staining it red. What are you? Asked Kagami, in disgust as he looked at this creature. You're death. Naruto looked down to see a shadow approaching him, as he then saw a rolling juggernaut coming towards him. Getting squashed by a Akimichi wouldn't be good. Before he could react though, he felt a presence entering his mind, but to everyone's shock he simply laughed. You tried to rape, so it's only right I do the same, he said. The intruder fell to her knees crying as she saw her family burn in front of her eyes, Konoha burning, as Kagami could only grimace. When Hina, Yamanaka dropped to the ground, blood leaking from her eyes, her nose and her ears. He looked to see Hoshi, shadow technique having no effect on their enemy, something they never thought that could happen. The monster tried to suck out the chakra that was powering the Akimichi attack, as he then pierced 2 tentacles right through Akimichi's back. Hoshi Yamanaka watched his 2 teammates for the last decades fall right in front of him, one after another. His shadow had failed, but how could that be? Your shadow didn't work, and it was your fault they died. It is best you die yourself. Obito collapsed to his knees when Hoshi pulled a kunai and stabbed it right through his head. As his corpse collapsed on the ground, only 6 Jonins remained, including the commander Kagami Uchiha. In his entire career, he has never seen a monster like this, and he has seen and faced Jinchuriki, but this thing was different. Suddenly, loud explosions went off across the camp borders. Ferocious battle cries of hundreds of fighters came on the borders, as Kagami saw the monster in front of him. He could see it right on the mask. A smile was on his lips. He grimaced and realized the strongest fighter was lower here for him to slaughter, while the weaker one would probably be facing this boy's forces. Consider the roar of his enemy forces and seeing that the most of the Jonins were here, now lying dead, they will be overwhelmed. His eyes glanced at Obito and his team. They were too young to die here. Man, grab as many of our people and get out of here, said Kagami. His shinobi stared at him in surprise, as his eyes never came off the demon in front of him, who just smiled at him wickedly. Kagami time stopped for him when he saw his other Jonins got slashed in half as dark tentacles came from the ground, ripping them to pieces. Obito screamed as Ren fainted. Kakashi was barely conscious and he was in incredible pain. It was just like this. My people were killed right in front of my eyes by Konoha Shinobi, Naruto said. It was your village that made me the monster now, standing in front of you. Kagami clenched his fist and released a horrible killing intent, his Sharingan spinning dangerously. But Naruto simply laughed. Anger was your greatest mistake while facing him, as Naruto invaded his mind. As Naruto flashed in front of Kagami and tore his hand right into his chest, grabbing onto his beating heart. As he held onto the man's heart before ripping it out. As the heart beat 2 times in his hand before just going quiet. As he pushed the body aside. As Naruto blocked a kunai that was aimed towards him. As the boy lashed out the fist, but Naruto grabbed the boy's wrist and snapped it. As he saw Sharingan glaring at him, it was a Chunin. As Naruto smashed the heart right into his face, knocking him away. Naruto's dark tentacle was flaring. He then saw one of the other shinobis dash forward. As he aimed, his hand that was covered in lightning ripped through one of Naruto's dark tentacles. He flicked his wrist as the kunai came out as he aimed it straight towards Naruto's heart, getting through the defense of the dark tentacle. Naruto waved his wing as Kakashi had to jump away as he landed beside Obito. Kakashi? Obito said. Kakashi huffed, when the enemy is in front of us. We have to fight no matter what, even if it costs us our life. That is what Minato Sensei taught us, right? They then felt a massive wave of pure killer intent. What did you just say? Naruto asked. Keep calm, Obito. He used our anger to get the best of us. Kakashi grabbed his injured arm. I have your back, said Obito. As Naruto looked around, many bodies were lying around him. But he still didn't feel satisfied, as he looked up and wondered how many more lives that he has to end, to get revenge for his clan. How many more does he has to kill? He wanted them to suffer. He wanted them to feel pain and regret. Whether his actions were right or wrong, he didn't care. Kisame should have reached the sand prisoners by now. Knowing Hidan and the cult, they're probably slaughtered and massacred everyone in their path. As Naruto has overestimated Konoha forces, as he had underestimated his powers, darkness and hatred will always be there, and that was just the easy way for him to get into their mind. This was over now. He should pull back his forces before reinforcement comes, but it would be better if the Akatsuki disappear without a trace. He looked at these two as he tried to go into their minds, but he couldn't. Despite being young, they were calm, or at least desperately trying to be. Well, if that was the case, Naruto dashed forward. Here he comes, said Obito, as Kakashi raised his tanto. As he was getting close, Naruto jumped over their heads, as he headed straight towards Ren, Earth-style Earthquake Jutsu. The moment Naruto hit the ground, he shook terribly because of Kakashi. Kakashi then twisted his hand on the ground as Naruto felt himself sinking. This boy, he was impressive. The ground beneath him turned into a deep mud pool, as he started to suck his chakra from his feet. Obito instantly threw 2 smoke bombs that erupted around him. But Naruto wasn't affected by the sleeping gas as well, because of the mask that Kisame gave him. As Naruto had to tilt his head as a kunai came past him, as Obito grabbed Ren and jumped out of there. Kakashi then released a barrage of paper bombs into the smoke, but he then coughed up blood when a sword ripped right through his back, as he saw Naruto's body materializing out of smoke. Obito was currently on the ground as shrapnels had hit him in his leg. Sounds of battle had died down that meant either the enemy had retreated or all of their forces were dead. But as Kakashi stared at him, he knew they were all dead by now. They had been defeated. No, they had been decimated. Kakashi's hand then sparked with lightning as he thrust it at Naruto. Naruto simply stepped back as he burst into dark smoke. Obito rushed towards Kakashi's side. Kakashi's eyes then went wide as the smoke was fast. It came from underground. Kakashi leaped off with incredible speed. Obito's eyes went wide, but Kakashi dropped right in front of him as a sword tear right through him. As Kakashi fell over right into Obito's arms. Kakashi! Kakashi! Obito cried out as his friend was bleeding out. As Naruto looked at him, this boy was green. Probably one of the few that Konoha sent out to war who was not even seen death yet. As Naruto would leave him to live, that would be his punishment. To know that his best friend died for him, that will be his torment. Kakashi, don't die. Minato Sensei will be here. We will get you to the medics. Naruto had snapped around. He might have missed it before, but he heard it this time. Did Obito just call his father Sensei? As he quickly peered into Obito's mind, pushing his mental powers, as Obito had no will to fight back. As he tore through Obito's mind, ignoring the boy's scream. But it was Naruto who suffered, as he went through memory after memory. Obito Uchiha, son of Minato Namikaze and Mikoto Uchiha. He was his younger brother. The bodies around him started to decay as Naruto's dark chakra started to go out of control. As he saw Minato being there for Obito, being there for him at the academy, training him, taking him out for a meal, celebrating his birthday, giving him gifts. But what broke Naruto complete was another sight. He could never forget his own mother. He saw her at once in the picture. She was taking care of Obito. She was there for him, buying him ramen. She told him that she loved him. She cried for him to come back alive from the war. She spent time with him. All the while he was living a life of loneliness, his existence never being recognized. Obito fell unconscious right beside Kakashi's mind, could not hold on anymore. Tears started to come from Naruto's eyes. He knew that his parents never loved him. But the first chance they got, they discarded him like he was an unwanted tool. This was just... He clenched his chest. This wound, it was more painful than anyone that he ever received. So he couldn't hold it. He screamed, his voice filled with pain and betrayal. As he looked towards Obito, he clenched his face as blood started to leak from it. You made me suffer, father, mother. more than anyone else, as he will break them. As he grabbed Kakashi Tanto and raised it, as he looked over Obito, he'll make you feel more pain. As he brought it down, but before it could connect, Naruto felt blood bursting from his neck. As a kunai jabbed into the back of his neck, as a kick crashed into him that sent him sailing away. As Naruto was choking on his own blood, collapsing on the floor. His healing powers are good, but that was a vital area. But he refused to give up. He had too much to do. He couldn't die here. No, he wouldn't die here. The attacker gasped to see the enemy got back to his feet. Blood flowed freely from his neck as the kunai was still launched between it. Naruto's eyes has returned back to normal. As he turned, he couldn't believe who was standing there. Father? But guys, we'll end this episode right here. If you enjoyed and want to see the next part of this, you know what to do. Comment down below and tell me that you want the other part, guys. I'll be posting that as soon as possible. And also, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Had Divine Powers, and enjoy that, guys. And also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Pushed Himself to the Limit. And I also post a new episode of What If Naruto's Uzumaki King. So go ahead and enjoy it as well. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.